Our concept is based on an artificial intelligence, but we cannot yet afford the development costs. But we want to evaluate it anyways. If that's the case with your project, then Wizard of Oz is the method you should go for. Very often we have this great idea, and the more we think about it, the more ideas come up and the more opportunities we see with that idea. But then we realize, well, we have either a cost or a time problem. And then the lean approach is one approach we can go for. Because with the lean approach, we only implement the core functionalities, we reduce the costs as much as possible, we do many loops, and we actively involve the users and get lots of feedback from them. But what if we have a big project that involves lots and lots of development costs and we can't begin the prototyping before we actually have implemented it? Well, then we have some kind of a big problem, and this problem evolves when we think about autonomous cars, if we think about other artificial intelligence projects, because those are really hard to implement. It's the same with voice-based interaction, because speech recognition is also hard to implement. Also, gesture-based interaction, when you can move with your hands and the computer recognizes everything, that's also relatively hard to implement. And of course, we have eye tracking, which is also a new input method that still needs lots and lots of development costs. And those were only some samples, and there are many more out there. The solution to evaluating a project like that, where you have big development costs that you cannot afford, is called Wizard of Oz. Because you prepare a user study as if everything was working already, and then everything that is not implemented will be handled by the wizard. And the wizard, that's a second person besides the study investigator, who actually pretends to be the solution, who is working in the background and makes the solution work. And why would you use an approach like that, where a second person is working in the background as if he or she was the system? Well, the answer is really easy. Because this approach is easy to implement, it is cost and time saving, you get some valuable feedback from the users will not realize it, and prototyping and testing can be begun very early within the creation process. And what do you need to take care of if you want to use that method? Well, there are several things that you need to consider, and the first one is that the wizard actually needs to be able to perform the tasks that he or she needs to do. Also, the wizard in the background obviously needs time to react to what the user has given as an input to the system. And the Wizard of Oz also needs to make some mistakes over time, because if everything is functional, that might seem suspicious to the users. Which brings us to the last point, which is that you must never tell the user that there is a wizard in the background. Tell them that it is a real system that they are interacting with. Let's take a look at one sample that I have performed myself during my bachelor thesis. In my bachelor thesis, I was working on an autonomous vehicle project. And of course, I didn't have an autonomous vehicle, so therefore I needed to fake it. But how can we achieve that effect? Well, the answer was really easy, because I implemented an VR audio-based interaction concept. And that means that all participants were given VR glasses, so they were blindfolded, they couldn't see anything. Then I put the glasses on their faces, when the car drove in front of us, a colleague of mine was driving that one, and then we got into the car and they experienced it as if it was a real autonomous car, because they were not able to see the driver. Lying, however, is never something that you want to do, and I did not enjoy that part of my bachelor thesis either. So in the end, I told all the participants that it was a real driver driving that vehicle. But it did not matter to them, because they experienced it as an autonomous vehicle, because the setup was so real to them that they did not notice that it was a real human driver. And therefore, they still loved the experience. If you want to tell your participants that it was a wizard in the background or not, depends on your personal opinion if you want to do it or don't want to do it. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked that video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn the notifications bell on, and also hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video.